Roughly half of this year's U.S. Olympic team didn't even qualify to go to Milan Cortina until January. But not freestyle skier Quinn Dellinger. He just barely missed out on the last Olympics, and no way was he going to let that happen this time.
They sent 3 guys, I would have been the 4th. I just didn't have the results. But this time around, I knew it was going to be different.
This time, he was one of the first athletes named to the 2026 Olympic roster, qualifying last June, a game changer this season.
Just going into the competitions this year, like if I got sick or had a minor injury or something, it just kind of lifted a little bit of the weight off the shoulders.
I missed dying to ask the road to Milan Cortina the not so obvious advantages of making the team so early. 4 members of the aerials team have ties to Cincinnati. How did that part of the country become such an aerials powerhouse? Quinn's girlfriend, Kayla Kuhn, is also an Olympian in aerials, what it's like for them to share this Olympic journey together. And Quinn explains why fear is a good thing when this is your day job. Download Dying to Ask the Road to Milan Cortina on Apple or Spotify, or you can watch it on YouTube. When you realized that you had kind of clinched that spot, and at least that's one thing you can cross off a really long to-do list, what was that experience like?
Well, initially, when I first got contacted, it was by my head coach's boss, Matt Canosa, and he texted me in the morning and he's like, hey, can we hop on a call? And I was like, oh, what did I do this time? Because either whenever he contacts me, it's either I did something good or I did something bad. So I was like, oh, what did I do this time? And then I picked up the phone. He's like, hey, I want to congratulate you on making the Olympic team. And I had a slight idea that it was a possibility, but I didn't really know. And so it was a shock, and it was a really welcome shock. And I was just at a loss for words when I finally discovered that I'd made the Olympic team.
Some surprises are really good.
Yeah, it was really good.
And so what were the things that had to come together for him to be able to give you that call?
Well, it first off was me clinching first at Deer Valley and then second World Champs. That put me at 3rd in the world on the FIS-based points list, and then that's how I qualified. So that didn't come out for a little while after the first event, and then once it was officially posted, then they called me, and then that's when I finally learned. And that was really special because I wasn't expecting it, and it was just a complete surprise when he actually did tell me that I made the Olympic team.
Now, last quad, you came really close, right?
Yep. They sent 3 guys, I would have been the 4th. I just didn't have the results, didn't have the degree of difficulty at that point in time to make the Olympics, but this time around I knew it was going to be different and made sure of it.
You made sure of it early, which is really cool. Okay, so what is it like now, like 6 months heading out? What are the things that are going to be happening over the next couple of months to make sure you're where you need to be?
So first off is just being consistent with everything that I'm doing, making sure that I'm consistent in the weight room, making sure that I'm consistent with jumping, and then making sure that I'm pushing my degree of difficulty. So right now I'm working on quint twisting triple backflips. I'm working on a variation, which is 1-3-1. It's nicknamed the Hurricane. Speedy Peterson was the first one to do that and named it. So I'm going to be trying to do that this winter and hopefully putting it down at the Olympics.
So when you say like working on it, what does that actually mean? Like in real layman's terms, how does an athlete in aerials work on a trick?
So on water, during the summer, we go off a synthetic plastic surface into a pool, and we do our flips and twists into that pool to train them for winter. So the jump and the table and the in run are all exactly the same as the winter, and then we try and make the landing as realistic as possible with landing at that angle. So during the summer, we can work on different tricks that we wouldn't want to do on snow because you might get injured or get hurt doing them. So that's what I mean. So right now, I've done a few quint twisting triple backflips on snow, none successfully, but this will be the year that I change that.
Were you the kid who was like jumping from couch to couch?
No. No, I was, when I first moved out here, I was lucky enough to move in with a roommate.
Oh no, I meant like when you were a little, I meant physically, like were you one of those kids who your mom was like, get off of that?
Yeah, I was jumping off a lot of things. Definitely jumping off a lot of things. The diving board, they couldn't get me off that at the local swim pool. Turpin Hill Swim Club was where I started to learn how to flip, and then we also had a trampoline in our backyard. So, and then I have 3 brothers, so that also just the energy bouncing off of each other, it tends to just multiply.
Why do you like flipping?
Because allows me to feel like I have a sense of flying. It feels like it's falling but in control, so in a sort of way it is soaring, I would like to say. And that's why I like it.
That's a very consistent answer we heard from other athletes too. What is it about that sense of flying do you think that's so attractive to some people?
The adrenaline rush. I'm an adrenaline junkie. I like mountain biking, I like rock climbing, I like skiing. All the sports that give you that adrenaline rush I enjoy, so it's definitely that soaring feeling gives you that adrenaline feeling.
I climbed those stairs with you today, which was super fun. And getting to the top and looking out, it gave me a really different perspective of what you do for a living.
Yeah, I always say people always have a certain view and they watch it from the bottom or see it on TV, and then they completely switch that view when they get up next to the jump or look down the end run especially. Because when you're going into that jump at 45 miles an hour and it's 14 feet tall and 71 degrees, it looks like a wall of ice. So it's definitely a little intimidating when you're actually looking at it. And a lot of people don't see that in the videos. There's just like, oh, there's some flips, and then you get up next to it and you're like, whoa, this is big.
This is like for real.
Yeah.
When you get to the top, what happens mentally between the time that you take that last step to get up there and the time you get the ski on and then you get ready to go?
So during the summer, when I get to the top, I'm just trying to catch my breath and like collect my thoughts. And then from there, it's getting my skis ready, clicking in, and then as soon as I'm clicked in and I've watered the ramp and the ramp is ready for me to go, then it's just fully locked in and thinking about what I need to do a successful jump. So most of the time, the first thing I'm thinking about is my takeoff and what I need to do a successful takeoff that will lead to a successful jump.
I see a lot of athletes who seem to like kind of go through the motions. Are you going through the motions of the flip, the moves?
Yeah, it depends on the trick. Like for easier tricks, I'll just go and do it and not think too much of it. But definitely for those quint twisting triple backflips, I might give it a visualization, is what we call it. Might give it a visualization or two, and then step out.
Why does that work?
Because when we're going through the air, our arm movements need to be so specific and precise, because with what we do, we have a flip plane and a spin plane. So if you miss one of those planes, the drop is irrelevant. It doesn't do anything for you, and sometimes can hurt you if you do it in the wrong area. It'll block you. So when you're visualizing that, you're visualizing dropping your arms in a specific spot so that it either speeds up your twist or stop your twist or helps you slow down your flip or just control everything.
How did you go from living in Ohio to doing what you do?
So I started out at Perfect North Slopes. I started skiing 10, 11, and then got into the terrain park with my older brothers and had a lot of fun in there. I was doing rails, and then eventually I think I did my first backflip when I was 11, I think, at Perfect North. And then eventually at one of the big air competitions at Perfect North, I got recruited by one of my teammates' dad, John Curran. Actually, initially I got recruited by Justin's sister, Alexis, and then she turned me over to John Curran, who then introduced me to the EADP at the time, which was the Elite Aerial Development Program. It was the U.S. Ski Team's aerial development program.
And you were how old then?
I was 13 when I made that team.
So many of you guys are 13 when people go, there's something about that kid. What is it they see in a 13-year-old that makes them think this person can do what you're doing now?
I think that skiing nowadays is so competitive that you have to make that decision at 13 nowadays, and it's when I remember being that young and seeing all the slope style skiers and being like, I can't really keep up with them. And then I saw this as an alternative pathway to continue skiing, which I love, and do it for a longer period of time, which I immediately jumped on and have never looked back. But nowadays, if you don't start when you're like 13, 14, you're already at a disadvantage. So I think nowadays, kids that age, at least myself, when I was around that age, I had made the decision that I was like, all right, I need to be training all season long. So if you're in Ohio, you're already at a disadvantage because the winter is only like 3 or 4 months. And then if you're not training all season long, then you're already at a disadvantage because there are 13-year-olds that are doing double and triple corks and backflips, and that's where you need to be at the highest level in the world nowadays.
I mean, it takes a special 13-year-old to be able to have the focus for that.
Definitely. And not everyone wants to do it, not everyone is determined, but we had tryout camps for when we did it, so definitely weeded out kids that were passionate about it versus just like, oh, I kind of want to try this out. And
Or
I think
having
that
a
was,
parent
that
who's
was the
pushing them,
difference
maybe.
too, was
Yeah.
being passionate about it and having fun with it, because if you're not having fun with it, then why are you doing it?
How much
So,
fun are you having?
I'm having a lot of fun still. So sometimes, some days more than others, but I'm still having a lot of fun.
And you actually have a girlfriend who's doing this, taking the same path.
Kayla.
What is the advantage of you guys doing this together?
It's amazing because we've already talked about this, because the last 2 years ago I was in Australia and we were long distance, and for only a month, and I was like, man, that would be tough if we were always long distance. So having my girlfriend on the road with me, being able to have all these experiences like winning world championships together is super special, and just being able to share all these moments together is just been a dream come true.
It's good to be you right now, Quinn.
Yeah, it is.
Tell me a little bit about the support you get from Cincinnati.
Cincinnati has been massive. Anytime I go back, people are always asking me how I'm doing, how's it going, what's it like out there, and then definitely whenever I talk to people seriously about aerials in Cincinnati, like my buddies and stuff, everyone's always so supportive and just rooting me on to the fullest. And I definitely feel the support from Cincinnati anytime that I go back.
Looking ahead, like what does this experience mean for you? You have World Cups and you have lots of races that are huge in what you do, but the Olympics is different. So what does it mean for you?
For me, it means competing at the highest level of sport. The Olympics are the highest level without a doubt. World championships are cool, but that happens every 2 years. World Cups are great, they happen every year. The Olympics happens every 4 years, so you only get one shot every 4 years, so you have a limited number of opportunities where you can compete and do well, and that's what makes it so special, is that you have to step up in that moment, and if you don't, then good luck 4 years from now. So that's what makes it so special.
Thanks for checking out Dying to Ask, The Road to Milan Cortina. You can take the show on the go by downloading it on Apple or Spotify, and you can always watch it on YouTube.